Now with one of America's most popular sports media personalities, Stephen A. Smith. You didn't say Stephen A., you know who we're talking about. He's a star of the #1 sports morning TV show, First Take on ESPN, and he's just written a terrific new book. It is called Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes. Can we give it up here in the studio for Stephen A. Smith?
Thank you.
All right now.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I got you here, so I've got to get your first take on the game last night, because I saw you on your show. You had all that Bucks gear on, and the Cowboys came through.
Well, first of all, the Cowboys should thank me. I motivated them. I motivated them.
You're going to take credit.
I'm going to take credit for that. I did this for them, all right? But they were awesome last night. They were clearly the better team, the more dominant team, and Tampa Bay just was completely outclassed. And they've looked that way all season, but it just really, really showed. I thought it was going to be closer than that. I didn't expect an annihilation, but that's what we got.
Okay, but also what we got is an endorsement from the GOAT. Tom Brady has read your book.
Yeah.
He was praising it so very high. And I think people are going to be surprised a little bit to know that you said you didn't want to get into sports journalism just to talk about sports.
Right. I never wanted to be limited to just sports. There's, sports is a microcosm of our society in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in this world that emanates from the world of sports and really touches on everyday people and everyday lives. And you know what? I'm always interested in mass appeal. And so anytime you have an opportunity to talk about a plethora of subjects, that is certainly something that I always want to embrace no matter what it is. And that's why I do First Take. That's why I've loved doing it for so many years, because you have an opportunity to talk about so many things.
And there's so many mentors that you write, so you gave praise. You really did. And there are a lot of mentors that told you that. That told you that, hey, it's not just about when you were playing basketball at HBCU. It wasn't just about that. It's going beyond that. And you really taken that to heart.
Well, the greatest mentor in my life is my mother, God rest her soul, is the greatest woman I've ever known. And, to me, to go to HBCU like Winston-Salem State, Clarence Big House Gaines, a legendary figure, was a big-time father figure in my life. And people like that always reminded me of the importance to give back. I'm not here because of me. I'm here because of so many people that were willing to extend a helping hand and help me to get to where I am. They inspired me, they motivated me, and they held me accountable to be the best that I could possibly be.
I loved how you talked about your mama. I mean, I know that she passed in 2017 and how hard that was. And you said the reason that you waited to write the book is that she asked you not to write it while she was still here. Why?
My mother knew that I would talk about my relationship with my father. She knew that was going to happen. And although this book is about motivating and inspiring people of all ethnicities and what have you, the other reason is to celebrate her. She, again, is the greatest woman I've ever known. And I miss her dearly every day, and I cried for every day for about 2 years when she was gone. And I wanted to celebrate her. But in the process of celebrating her, you inevitably have to talk about why she has to be celebrated, the kind of trials and tribulations she had to endure. That ultimately led to me having to talk about my relationship with my father, along with that of the rest of my siblings. I got 4 older sisters that still lives in Queens, New York. My brother passed away in 1992, but we all had to endure that. And so she knew I was going to do that. And she just said, when I'm dead and gone, not before.
But I love how, and thank you for sharing that, Stephen A. There's a great scene in the book where, okay, you're having some great success.
Yeah.
You graduate, you're the hot kid, you go to ESPN, have some initial success, but then you lose your position.
Yeah.
You go back home, you're in your childhood home, your mama comes in with breakfast, and she also has a mirror next to the plate.
Yeah.
Tell people why.
Well, I got let go, ESPN let me go because of a contract dispute, and I was home licking my wounds and pointing the finger and blaming and feeling like a victim. And my mother gave me my breakfast. She knows I love my bagels, my toasted bagels with extra butter and my scrambled eggs and my tea. And she had a handheld mirror on the tray, and she said, it's there because I'm just wondering when you're going to look at yourself. She said, you know what? You might not have deserved to be fired. She said, but I've seen you on the phone. I've seen your attitude. I see the way that you acted. I see how you felt about them. And she said, to act that way and to conduct yourself that way, she said, you're not a boss. And you wouldn't want somebody acting that way towards you. So why should they want you to work for them? You need to grow up, you need to mature, you need to be better. And she got all up in me and left me there to lay in my room for about an additional day and just absorb and accept the fact that a lot of this I had brought on myself.
But something very rare. ESPN came call it again.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot. So talk about the ups and downs and why you are sitting where you are in the #1 morning sports show.
Well, obviously giving thanks to God, that's number one. Number two, to the greatest mother alive, to the greatest mother ever lived. But also great bosses. You know what? Nothing's perfect. But when you have folks that are extending a helping hand, they recognize not just your gifts and what you bring to the table, not just your work ethic, but the fact that you have the kind of mentality where they saw the maturation that took place. I have to give credit where credit is due. George Bodenheimer is a former boss here. George Bodenheimer called me into his office and had a big-time conversation with me, and I revered this man. He's one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life and was always a big-time supporter of mine. And he talked to me about some of the mistakes that people had echoed to him that I had made. And he said, I still believe in you, and this book is not closed, just a chapter. And right then I knew it was an opportunity I could be back one day, because he didn't have to say that. He didn't have to invite me into his office. So you just saw that nugget of hope. And I just looked at myself and I said, okay, I charted down the things that I did wrong. I charted down the people, wrote the names of the people that I may have offended, may have upset or whatever. And I said, I'm gonna correct the error of my ways, and I'm gonna come back better than ever, and I'm gonna be #1. And that's what I ended up pulling off.
And still going, and still going strong. So bottom line here, Stephen A., people picking up this book, what do you want them to take away from your story? It's still a work in progress.
I want them to be inspired. I want them to be motivated. I want them to understand that you're going to go through peaks and valleys in your life. You're going to have moments where you think everybody's against you, nobody is supporting you. It's all a lie. There's always somebody willing to extend a helping hand. If you believe in you and you want to go about the business of doing things the right way, putting your head down, be committed to putting in that work, being the best person that you can be, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to be flawed. All of those things are going to happen. But it's not about whether or not you get knocked down. It's about your willingness to get back up. Any race, color, creed, it doesn't matter who you are. All of us go through those things. Are you willing to get up and go for it? Are you willing to aspire to be the best that you can be? Are you willing to be an asset, or are you committed to being a liability? Those are the kind of things that I want people to take from this book, because I am no liability to anybody. I believe in being an asset. I believe in being a winner. And I'm a winner because I strive to be a winner. Even when I fail, I'm winning because I don't plan on giving up. Okay. And nobody should either.
Even when you fail, you're winning.
I'm still winning because I'm going for it.
You are.
I'm going for it all the time.
And you know that sometimes that can be a little like for people. Yeah.
But it's all right. That's a part of it. Part of the process. I mean, anything worth having is not going to come easy. You got to understand that adversity is a part of the road, and you got to welcome those challenges, because if it was easy, once you achieve it, how good do you feel? It's the fact that it was hard and you went for it and got it. And
you, my friend, have worked so hard, and it comes through in every single page of your book. Thank you, Stephen A. Smith.
Thank you so
much
for
being here.
Thank you for having me.
I had to fight Michael for this interview, you know that. But I took him down. I did. I swooped his legs.
That wasn't much of a fight. Ain't nobody beating Robin Roberts. Nobody beat Robin Roberts. Straight knows that. Straight knows that. That's my man, though.
That's right, because he's a straight shooter. He's a straight shooter, and his bookstore is nationwide today. You want to pick up a copy. Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.